Spags, I'm almost done with him. I don't think they should fire him mid-season. I don't think that'll really help anything, and it's not like anybody on his defensive staff has shown anything either. With almost every position group kind of falling short right now, so it's not like somebody stepping up from that group to call plays is going to be better. But if this continued and I were the GM or Clark Hunt, Spagnuolo would not be back next year. So that's kind of where I'm at on him. I don't know where you're at, Jordan. You led into it in a weird way, so I'm curious.
So of Brett Veach, the players on defense, and Spags, where does Spags rank? First, second, or third?
Um, I would say I would say he's first, slightly.
Wow. I'd say he's third.
I would say he's first solely because his personnel decisions have been terrible. And this is the same group of players also basically as last year on defense. So I don't know exactly what went wrong to where it became a historically bad defense from just a below average defense, but something happened. And I think teams are starting to just figure out where to attack his defense, and he's not adjusting. And the personnel decisions are I can't say the word, but making everything worse.
I agree with everything you said, which is weird because I still have him third, but it's not like a clear third. I think that
It's not a clear first.
okay. I think Veach not investing in the cornerback position is coming back to bite him. I think Veach not bringing in a quality edge, and part of the moving Chris Jones to the outside has to do with Spags. So I guess he does get blamed for that. The Jerron Reed thing is not working out. I think that the drafting of Nick Bolton was a questionable pick, although he did play better, had the game of his career on Sunday. I think that Veach gets a good deal of the blame for not constructing a proper defense. I think the players get a lot of the blame for literally, like you said, most of those players have played before, and a lot of them are not playing well right now. So it's not necessarily a coaching. Here's what I think about Spags. I think he's very stubborn. His personnel decisions have been poor. It took him way too long to switch from Sorensen to Thornhill. It took him way too long to get Fenton on the field, playing Chris Jones
He's
on the
still
outside.
playing Mike Hughes.
Yes, still playing Mike Hughes. Exactly. No, his personnel decisions have been bad. Also, he just doesn't want to make the adjust. He doesn't want to dumb things down. And what the Chiefs have done a lot of this year, they've run a lot of cover zero where safeties have been deep enough to where offenses know the Chiefs are going to probably run two things. Obviously, they run way more than two things, but it's either going to be cover zero, so they have an extra defensive back or linebacker to blitz because they need that extra pressure and they want man across the board. They don't have the personnel to do that right now. Sorensen, when he was out there, he can't run downhill, make tackles. So part of that's personnel, part of that is scheme. Then they run that Tampa 2 where Matthew drops down as a linebacker instead of being that safety up top. That's all fine and dandy. But they've just been too predictable. I think the linebackers have been relied on to be working in the flats. There's been too much. Spags tries way, way, way too hard to disguise stuff before the snap, and there's too much bail technique. There's too much rotation. So I'm making myself.
You're really talking him. Yeah, I'm like, this is why he's first.
No, yeah, I'm going in on Spags, but the reason that I have him third is because the cornerbacks have really crippled the team. It's on Spags to adjust to the personnel he's been given. I 100% agree with that. So he does deserve a great deal of blame. But with that said, when you're playing the Eagles and both Anthony Hitchens and Tyrann Mathieu are screaming at Juan Thornhill to get in the right spot, and he still doesn't, and then the play starts and Hitchens doesn't even know where his man's at because he was screaming at Thornhill, that's not on Spags. That is on the players. I think that Matthew will tell you, and I was listening to I think it was Cody and Gold. It was somebody during the day on Tuesday while I was driving. And they said the reason Matthew's throwing his hands up in the air, part of that is because he wants those guys to do better. Another part of it is because he likes Spags. The players really seem to like him. I could see him returning if the defense somehow does improve. If it doesn't, he's definitely gone. But a lot of that falls on the players and how they view him. And I know that cleaning house is an option. I know that starting from scratch is an option. But when your leaders really, really like Spags, the fact that they're so frustrated with themselves, I think says a little bit more about them than it does about the coordinator. But with that said, I just roasted Spags for like 2 minutes, so I do understand why people would have him number one on their list.
I think the only reason I have the players third on mine, so it would go Spags, Veach, the players for me, is because I don't think this defense is particularly talented. So why am I going to blame players that probably are just playing at positions they really shouldn't be because they're just not talented enough to play them? Like that's on Veach, and I'll be writing about Brett Veach this week because I think he needs to be in the top three for people to blame right now. It would literally be Spags and Veach are in my top three right now, just for the whole team period. And third, honestly, might be Mahomes, but we won't talk about that right now. But because this defense, I look at this defense and I just go, if I take off my Chiefs glasses and I like L'Jarius Sneed, I like Juan Thornhill, I look at these players on this defense, I go, this is like a bottom 10 talented defense in the NFL. Just plain simple, it is. There's no real talent at edge. Mike Dana, great role player, great rotational dude, not a starting edge in the NFL, period. He's not an athlete. He doesn't have enough get up. And it's not a thing. Even though if you like Mike Dana, you can still acknowledge that. L'Jarius Sneed has given up a 145 quarterback rating when targeted this year. That's not all Spags. That's also him. Juan Thornhill up and down. I think he's probably an average NFL safety, at least as he is right now. That's fine, but like he's also your fourth best defensive player as an average NFL safety. Where's the talent on this defense? I want to blame them, but I'm just like, there's not enough talent here for me to say, hey, you guys should be better. They should be, with this talent, a bottom 10 defense, and they are just the worst. So, I mean, that's where Spags comes in.